Welcome back to the channel, you guys. This is Wicked Raider 22, taking a look at another champion that will likely pop up in your accounts one way or the other. And I'm talking about Adjudicator. This is a champion I actually pulled right after the last Clan v Clan within one of the shards that this account in particular actually was granted. And so I pulled this champion before. It's normally at not the greatest time. And previously, I have used Adjudicator as food. So I didn't want to use her as a food champion. I kind of wanted to take a deeper look at her skill set, run her through maybe a couple of campaigns and battles and kind of see exactly what my girl can do. But if you haven't figured out by now, I am a lover of everybody with a bow. My girl is looking kind of fierce. Okay. All right, with the red hair, the little shoes, we see it. She working it, working it. All right, so always start with the reviews. Ah, she's kind of even. I'll be honest. 3.7 as our lowest area. Really, Iron Twin Fortress. No way. Honestly, even in Hydra and Void Keep, this will probably not be the first champion I would jump for. Arena is a no. So campaign, Spirit Keep, and Arena, Fire Knight's Castle are going to be your highest areas. And I'll be honest, if you have a sniper on your team, which everyone starts with a sniper, she will definitely remind you of Sniper. Or if you have Eris. Eris is another one, a very niche champion. Of course, Eris is farmable, campaign farmable, but can definitely serve your account in certain areas. And I'm wondering to myself, as I've been, just kind of working with Adjudicator, if she's going to be the same way. So she is in the high elf faction, one of my favorite. Dark elves is another one. Her skill set looks pretty good. So let's take a deeper look. Skill number one, isolation cell. So she has a 20% chance of placing a 50% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns, and this will attack one enemy. She is an attack based champion. You can increase the buff debuff chance by 25%. You can also increase damage by 10% as well. I will tell you guys, for all of my new game players, don't underestimate the importance of heal reduction. Don't underestimate. You have some boost turn meter champions. Don't underestimate those that have reduction of the turn meter. Those CC champions, those crowd control champions that are able to manipulate things like cooldown for the enemy when they're looking at the number of turns they can take. You will hear more and more veteran players really go through and start talking about being able to win the speed game. And I'll be honest, guys, a lot of it is going to come down to what type of artifacts are you placing on your champions? What does your Great Hall look like? Oh, the Great Hall. Do not sleep on Arena. That is the purpose, to farm that areas for Great Hall. And the other thing will come down to which masteries have you selected for your champion. So Raid Shadow Legends has done a really good job of making sure that each area of the game can appeal to a different type of player, but there's also a purpose for you to really go through those sections of the game as well. Her first attack, not bad. It's going to do a little bit of damage. It doesn't have the same hit, I'll be honest, as Sniper's first or Rain of Arrows, that second attack. For Adjudicators, Slowing Sanction will again attack one enemy, has a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 20%. You can get this down to a 3-turn cooldown. We can increase the buff debuff chance by 20%, and we can also increase damage by 10% as well. I'm more impressed with the turn meter by 20% than I am with the fact she's only attacking one enemy. If I could upgrade this champion, probably in any way, it would be for her to actually have attack all enemies, at least for the second skill. That would have been a nice one to kind of see. But the 50% chance, all the way up to what, a 75, 70% chance, placing that 20% decrease in turn meter can definitely be worth it. 3-turn cooldown, depending on who she's on the team with. depending on what area of the game you're in. Remember, this account is at a level 18. It can definitely make a difference, especially for where we are. All right, so penalize. We can get this skill down to a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks 2 times at random. Has a 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target's skills by 1 turn at random. The random skills, you have to be really careful. You have to be careful. You can increase damage by 20%. You can also increase the buff debuff chance by 25% as well. So bringing it up to 75% overall. She does have an aura for accuracy in the arena, so she can increase that by 40. Arena is probably not the number one place I would think about using her, but on this particular account, she has been moved to the spot of my top 4 champions. If you guys were able to watch the previous video, I talked about as I've created new free to play accounts, I've kind of been playing with some of the rules, how many champions to focus on, where to gain resources from, where to spend your, the majority of your time, just kind of going in and getting a feel for how the rules actually mix with my current gameplay and what things it's actually encouraging me to switch up a little bit. And so, and of course, the other reason is to have multiple accounts. You're exposed to a lot more champions. I'll give you an idea of what Miss Adjudicator can do, and we'll do a couple of comparisons. I've been running the keeps. You guys know when I run multi battles on my new accounts for beginning players, guys, I'm going to preach this so much because I was so far into my first account before I actually started paying attention to this. And I will run, let's just run Magic Keep in the background. So we've been making some progress. I got to stage 8 and kind of got stuck. So let's just go back to stage 5 and we'll run forward. If you are early game, once you have assembled even your team of 2 champions, if you're focusing on, I try to wait until I have 4 decent champions that are going to be my main focus. Start running Minotaur's Labyrinth. I don't plan on keeping Adjudicator. She doesn't strike me necessarily as like a mid-game, late mid-game kind of player, in-game kind of champion, but I will master her only because I'm going to run her on this particular team. So for this account, Kale was my starting champion. I was lucky enough to pull Burgess this past week with Clan B Clan. I added Adjudicator as well. And then the Sniper, of course, is the second champion that all new accounts are going to pull. What I do like to compare, even though the levels between Adjudicator and Sniper are a little bit different. You guys can look here. She is both are 3-starred. Of course, Sniper is fully ascended because that is my girl. I'm going to ascend my girl every time instantly she moves up. I know what she's capable of. I have a previous video on Burgess. So, of course, he is down here giving all the good support. Adjudicator is going to come in with a little damage. I haven't really figured out a spot where she excels. She's a good carrier in campaign. That random skill she has can really be helpful in campaign when you're trying to just kind of go through and smash out those particular levels and be done. But do I like her beginning wise as much as Sniper? Not quite. Not quite. But you guys know Sniper's a different kind of case. If I compared, let's say for example, you have Eris on your accounts. Between Eris and Adjudicator, I like both. I plan on running her through Spider's Den to kind of see how she does, but it's the probably the number one drawback is the fact that she does not have that attack all enemies. She will attack 2 times at random. I like how it pops up, and when it does, you guys, you saw her 3,400 in damage. She can kick out a nice sum of damage. She has been proven to be hard to keep alive, which is, well appreciated at these beginning stages. But that's kind of the other thing that I'm looking for. And we have bosses right now. We're in the Spirit Keep that will really go through and kind of test the overall strength of your team, what they're trying to do, what they need to do. And we're in Magic Keep. Sorry. So here, did a little bit more damage. Of course, Sniper is coming in first. and ascending her is probably going to help. So that's why we're running this keep again as well. So doing a little bit more damage than Burgess, but of course he has an opposite job. If I'm comparing her to Sniper, about half the damage so far. So keep this picture in mind. She did, let's just say 14,000 in damage, 7,100 as far as defense. I'm going to go in and ascend her. And let me just jot down because that memory is horrible. Let's ascend her and see the difference that it makes. Because I have seen some people run champions for quite a while, and we are short. We've got to go run another dungeon really quickly. I will tell you guys this for Arcane's Keep, what I will normally do and what I have definitely done in the past. I will take a set of multi battles and I will run anywhere from 50 to 100 multi battles just through Arcane's Keep. If you think about it, you are given potions for logging in, for different challenges sometimes within tournaments, but all of your champions, the one thing all of your champions have in common, they will all require potions from this keep in particular. And so if you take a day when you have 30 battles, 50, like the days I only have 30 multi battles available, I will use half of those. So half in Arcane's Keep, half in Minotaur's Labyrinth. Half of my multi battles, if not more, will always go to Minotaur's Labyrinth. The difference that masteries will make for your champion are just phenomenal. Between that and knowing that the Great Hall impacts every champion on your account are going to be your motivators. Guys, it takes a lot of resources. If you're not going in and spending 800 gems on masteries for one champion, you're going to be running those champions on a regular basis. But I guarantee you it is going to be worth it. So team wise, these guys have made a really great synergistic team. I'm really happy with this top four. I did sacrifice War Priest so that I could move Sniper up as far as number of stars. So that's one thing that was done. Or I take that back. I actually used War Priest to upgrade Kale. I've had War Priest in my account before. And so, I know exactly what she can do, what she's capable of, and just want to kind of expose myself to some other champions. Let's go one more battle with Arcane. That way we'll have enough potions to kind of elevate at least Adjudicator, and then we'll run her through campaign. You guys will be able to kind of see what she can do, and we will wrap this thing up. So the good thing is because we have been doing double time as far as stages in campaign, when we're outside in dungeons, they've been running pretty smoothly. And that's been nice to see as well. Guys should be able to handle pretty well against void enemies, so we shouldn't have a problem. I would speed her up, both Sniper, if you have of course, if you have like Adjudicator, for example, for all of you guys who have Deliana, the speed alone, Eris is another one I was thinking of. The speed alone can be worth it. Soulbound Valor is another one. So you have so many champions where that speed can definitely be your focus. All right, let's try to send her. And then we'll go back and see what we can get done. Of course, we're going to be one short. Why? It's always the one short. It's always the one short, y'all. We're going to run this thing and see what we can do. So, in the past week or so, I know a lot of you guys ran tournaments. We just finished a major artifact upgrade, one champion upgrade. I know that there are a couple of events that are scheduled for the end of the month. What have you been doing with your newest champions? Have you switched up any of your teams as far as arena, as far as dungeon? Did you pull anybody you were really excited about and had really been waiting on? I can definitely say the rewards from this most recent Clan Be Clan were extremely helpful when it came to doing upgrades. I've definitely been able to, on certain accounts, forge much better gear as well. There are a couple of champions I've actually had the privilege of being able to rework just based on the resources and the prizes that were given during Clan Be Clan. So I mean, guys, even with tournaments, when I'm thinking about the amount of energy, if nothing else, energy and silver have been the name of the game on so many accounts. So just finding ways to kind of be a little bit more frugal about it and keeping up with the growth of my champions has really done me some good. All right, this should give us enough that we're able to at least send her 2 stars. And that way you guys can kind of see really, really, now we're short with the blue. Nobody told me. No, no, nobody. I guess y'all just don't want your girl to go back in. Like, let's go to a short one. We'll go quick. We'll go quick. So the other thing is, after your first week or so, when you are on the rotation with which keeps are going to be open, I recommend you guys go ahead and run a couple of battles through the keep on a daily basis. Even if you're not using your potions, you just allow them to kind of build up. I know a lot of people that don't use their brews. They actually, they let those build up as well. And then they come in and do a mass kind of upgrade champions when the events themselves come around. The biggest thing and probably the hardest thing for me to do is not to open shards and not to use resources that I am collecting. So starting today, the only thing I can really do for the next week is what I'm dedicating myself to is going through and acquiring as many resources as I can, especially with those accounts that I have that are able to access the forge itself. All right. Oh, of course, they would give us the one thing we don't really need. My girl needs a regular little bottle. I guess I should have dropped down um, in level, which if I don't get one here, I will. So the other thing is, have you played with the lineup of your champions? I know probably about a week or two ago, Ash for Raid Shadow Legends did a really good video breaking down the importance of position. Who are you putting in as your lead? If you have a champion with an aura, I would definitely recommend you pay attention to what area that aura is, strongest in. And also who is your second champion, third champion, fourth champion. He went through and talked about, position also determines what order your champions are able to perform their skill. It also determines the amount of damage they're receiving, because even though everyone is hit, they're actually going to receive a different amount of damage as well. There are some champions that may be applying shields, or they have other healing skills that only will impact those champions that come after them. So having them as the last champion on the team may not be the best thing for you. So there are always little tips, little tricks that everyone's kind of working on and pushing toward. And hey, it can definitely, definitely be worth it. All right, we got my girl up to 2 stars. We're going to take it. We're going to take it. Let's go back to campaign. We have, let's do a little something. I'm going to run, I don't know if they can make it through just the two, but we'll give it a go. We'll see how they do. Let's put in Burgess and Adjudicator. I usually don't run these two together. I normally will run him with Kale, but we'll put my girl in. I'm trying to see if she's a little squishy, because that's been the other question. And the answer is going to be yes. They love coming for her, which I figured they would. This particular stage, no matter what account I've ever had, has forced me to always go back in and definitely look at my champions. And because both her and Burgess are attack one enemy, these areas of the game can be a lot more difficult. I know that she would run better with either Kale or Sniper next to her, but being able to resist and get a little bit more done is kind of nice too. The support from Burgess is helping her out quite a bit. Now remember, guys, he's going to absorb a percentage of the damage that Adjudicator should be receiving. So at this point, honestly, she would not still be alive if it was not for Burgess. And I'm interested to see the amount of defense that he provided. So they were successful. Nice, nice. All right, take a look at her damage. She's at 26,000, and this is what kept her alive right here. That oh my gosh, that amount of support is going to be everything. So, guys, I'm hoping that you have had the chance to really go through and pull some champions. If there are areas of the game that you've kind of been shying away from, put your toe in, give it a try, kind of see what it does, because I promise you at the end of the day, it is going to prove worth it. If you stuck around with me for this long, go ahead and hit subscribe. We release content every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. And of course, if you do not have a clan, think about joining us at 22WK. I will list that clan handle in the description as well. I would love to hear from you guys, and have a good one. Happy gaming.